So just on the Pay It Forward program, just when did it start? And
Um, well, it started out as just being an all-free Facebook group. Um, However, it went from all free because we didn't really specify much of anything, just only free items. You can't buy or sell anything on here, just free items. We had over 8,000 members on that group until we had to individually delete each member and shut it down because we had people who were in Texas, California. Somebody would post something, they'd have a table and a chair set that they'd rather give to somebody instead of taking it to the Salvation Army where it gets sold. Granted, we know that the money they make is going for other things, but a lot of people can't even afford to go there to buy things. So we had that. A good friend of mine, she was in a really abusive relationship. It was one of the walk your kids to school days, beginning of September. I had gone down there. She had just walked out of her house after getting beat up by her boyfriend, her husband. She was there to pick her kids up from school. We started talking, and I still had a lot of my mom's stuff that I had stored here. And just seeing her show up there, bruised, bloody lip, she said she didn't want to go back. I was like, well, you can stay with me for a few days if you need to. Try to hook you up with domestic violence or something. She was too worried about that. So I had talked to a friend of mine that owns a couple of rental properties. He had put her into an apartment, but she couldn't take anything. She had gone to the house with a police officer. Everything she tried to take, oh no, that's mine, I bought it. You're in a relationship, you don't think about saving receipts for most things. I don't. After a few months, I don't know. So I gave her a bunch of stuff that I had that was my mom's to help her and her kids. And then I just reached out on Facebook to anybody. I put it on a few different groups that she didn't want her name out there, so I wouldn't tell anybody who she was. I was like, here's the situation. She's now a single mom, she's just leaving in domestic violence. She needs help. The outcome we got from that was just incredible. So after we shut down the all-free group, I immediately, like within the same day, I started the Pay It Forward group. So that way we could keep, anybody needed anything, could post it. Everybody's having yard sales, garage sales, end of September, getting rid of all the summer clothes from their kids. We started doing it, and next thing you know, it was like one donation drive after another. It just kind of snowballed into, now we've got 860 members now. I think we added like another 30 since you were here last.
And when did it start really picking up steam? Like what year, I guess?
This past year, 2013. Actually, it was around Halloween that it really started picking up. It was a friend of my daughter's, my youngest daughter's. She was over hanging out after school one day, and my daughter was like, hey, do you want to go trick-or-treating with us? And she was like, no, I can't. My mom's not getting this costume. She can't afford it. I had already sent the extras that my daughter had from the year before to the school. So just in case, because all of these elementary schools, they do the Halloween parades, and nobody wants their child to be that child that's walking in the back holding the teacher's hand or walking right next to the teacher without a costume. So I had posted in the group and asked if anybody had a child's costume. They actually needed two, one for her, one for her sister. If anybody had a child's Halloween costume that they could have, or even if they just borrowed it, that would be fine. We didn't care. I got so many Halloween costumes in that it was ridiculous. We probably had about 130 of them within the first few days. We had a few people that had gone out and bought brand new costumes for the girls. Then everybody else started like, oh my God, everybody else started asking. People were like, look, we'll give you last year's. We were just going to use this year's, but, it'd be nice to have the kid dress up as something different this year. So they would switch off. They'd give us their last year's costume. We'd give them a different one, and then we'd redonate the one that they had just given us to somebody else that needed one.
And this group's gotten, 860 members on Facebook. It's been total social media driven, from what I can tell. How do you manage that between managing your own life? I understand it's most of all out-of-pocket expenses.
She's my best friend, Amber. She does most of, I go with her, but she does most of delivering stuff like that. When I have extra money, I give her gas money. Other than that, we don't pay anybody for anything on the site. If somebody is really in desperate need of diapers or baby formula or something like that, we have a few members that will donate. I won't let anybody donate cash. We're not certified. I don't want to get in any type of trouble or anything like that. So ours is completely non-monetary donations. However, if we have somebody that needs diapers and wipes, and we don't happen to have any that's been donated, we have a few members that will go to the store, buy them. I've done it, Amber's done it. If it all depends. Like I said, if I have the money, I'll do it. If I don't, then I reach out. And a lot of people, it's so hard for them to ask for help that they don't know where else to turn. So when they're asking, they don't want their business put out there like that. So we have it to where, as long as they're asking, one of the admins or one of our site representatives will do, they can come and ask us. We'll create the post for them. That way they don't have to ask themselves. My daughters have donated. My oldest daughter, she shoveled, and when we were doing donation pickups, she was like, oh, here, Mom, I just made $20 shoveling 3 sidewalks. Here, use this for your Pay It Forward group. So they donate. They're they get little money here and there. They'll donate that. Amber's, she does. Most of it's a lot of time. We've got a lot of other members that will go out and pick up donations for us. And then my house gets this for a day until after we sort through and start redistributing or put it in storage.
I was going to ask, this shipment just arrived. What were you planning to use this for?
Actually, I'm waiting for a call back. I had spoke to Chico Martinez.
Okay.
The homeless shelter over on Franklin Street, it's 19 beds with 3 overflow. We're giving them at least 50 of these pillows. And they just actually told me that there's a huge bag of towels, too. We have a lot of different places, like hotels and little motels, bed and breakfast, that once they change using something, they don't really have anything else to do with it. And this time, this just kind of fell in our lap over the weekend. We got a call and asked if we were interested in taking up to 400 and something pillows. So we've been distributing pillows all weekend. And I called them down to the homeless shelter on Saturday after I talked to Chico. And I was like, are you guys interested in any? And they're like, oh, absolutely. So we figured we'll give them at least enough to set each one for the beds, have another backup set. And then with what we have left, this is only part of there's a total of 30 more boxes coming. Then we're going to reach out to the domestic violence shelter, transitional living down in Malone Village. These people, they don't have anything else. A soft pillow to lay their head on is luxury to them. We've given away a lot to members on our site over the weekend. Pillows are something that not everybody can afford to replace every couple of months. They end up with the real thin, the cotton is smushed down together, but it's not a necessity, so they don't think about having to do it. So this is, everybody is like, one person was like, oh my God, I feel like it's Christmas. Another girl messaged me. She picked up pillows Saturday. She messaged me Sunday morning a little after 11 and was like, oh my God, I didn't even wake up until 10:30. She's like, I slept that good. I was like, oh, great, It's not us, it's the people that donate it to us. All we do is basically pass it out, but we do try to make sure that, except for the pillows because it's such a huge donation, we have 5 rooms that we store things in. So we'll keep a few on hand for any fire victim families, domestic violence, anybody ends up, if they happen to be homeless and they get into an apartment or anything like that. We'll keep a few of the boxes on hand in our one of our 5 storage rooms. All the other ones we'll just redonate to other agencies that, said the homeless shelter, living, domestic violence. They're all places that could use pillows that, even though they are funded by the county, if they don't have to spend that money, your pillow is what, $5 each? So if we're giving them 50 pillows, they don't have to spend that money on something else. They can use it for something else.
And you mentioned you had the storage facilities. Is that okay?
Yeah. Basically, what our storage facilities are.
Storage facilities.
They're personal storage areas. I have a shed. I have a huge basement. I have an extra room. My kids, when we first moved into the house, my youngest daughter was only 8, so it was playroom. Now, she doesn't want a chalkboard wall and a pretty pink princess room. So, store things in there. Amber stores things in her basement and in her attic. We have a few other members that will store things in their basements until we need them. And it's just simple of a phone call. I'm like, hey, can you bring that over? And they'll bring it right over.
So you mentioned the donations, you mentioned some of the food drives. What are the exact functions of the Pay It Forward group? I mean, just and how many administrative members does it have?
Okay, administrative, we have 3, and then we have 4 site representatives. That at any time, if somebody posts something on the wall, they're, we know them very well. We're very personal. With so many members, obviously, we don't know each person individually. Mm-hmm. The site members are all, it's basically just a group of us friends that some of us became friends through the Pay It Forward group. Others, it's just been, we've known each other for years. Like Amber, her son and my daughter went to Head Start together when I broke my back. So it's kind of, we just all have a common goal, and that's to help everybody as much as we can without it costing other agencies. We know that there's food pantries around. A lot of our members don't even have they don't have any transportation, no vehicles to get to a food pantry. Some will, in an emergency situation, offer delivery, but with us, it's just basically if somebody needs food, we go through, if we have extra food in our house, we go through and give what we can. We find a lot of that during any school breaks and things like that. A lot of families that are receiving food stamps they usually count on their kids eating breakfast and lunch in school every day. Now they're not in school, so they run into the problems each month that they run low on food items. They can't make it to a food pantry. No parent should ever have to worry about what their child's going to eat,
And where do you see this group going? I mean, you mentioned you're not certified.
We're looking into getting certified. That's something we do want to do. We'd love to take it more public. Maybe outreach different areas. Like right now we cover Auburn, Skinny Atlas, Port Byron, Weedsport, Seneca Falls, going out towards Seneca Falls. Another girl that was a member of our group started her own Pay It Forward group out that way, which it's all kind of connected with ours as well. She's still daily communication, if she needs something, if we need something that she has from one of her members out there. Most of the members are both the same group, but it makes it easier because if somebody's out in Waterloo and they need something picked up, we can have her go and pick that up. Same thing, somebody's in Weedsport, Port Byron, we can have our site reps from there go out and pick it up and then bring it to us. We try to make sure that we verify the need before we give out. If it's food, you really don't verify a need for food. Clothing, things like that. If you're on Facebook, social media is wonderful for Facebook. I think, county services should use it too. There's too many people that abuse things. So with the social media, everybody is friends with each other on the groups. If we donate something to someone, but yeah, they're talking about they're going to the club 3 or 4 nights a week. Okay, no, obviously you have to put your needs in before your wants. And if you're not going to do that, you can't expect other people to do it for you. We see a lot of people that do it. I don't down on any type of social services, obviously. But I do see a lot of people that are, I'm sorry, you've got the brand new iPhone 5, but you're standing in line using food stamps and cash on an EBT card. Yeah, that I have an issue with. No, you shouldn't be able to buy beer and cigarettes and, things like that with it. But unfortunately, they don't have the means. Sure, somebody's not going to look at the caseworker and friend request them on Facebook. They don't have the opportunity to look in and see it like we do. You know what I mean? And it's Facebook. We're on it on our phones, on our computers, whatever. So we're seeing it all day, every day, as with social services and other county agencies. They're open a certain amount of hours a day. Obviously, if somebody goes in there for a recertification, they're not going to wear a Gucci coat, apple bottom jeans, things like that. They're going to dress the way that they think they should. We see it all the time. We have told people, no, we can't help, and we give them specific reasons. You need diapers and wipes for your child, but yet you were just talking about you were at the bar Friday and Saturday night. Don't you think you should have bought those before? We don't try to judge anybody, but at the same time, because of most of the members, if it's things like diapers, wipes, depending on what it is, so we've got members that'll go out and spend their money. I don't want anybody to be like, oh, well, I went and did this for Pay It Forward, and then the person that we gave it to just scammed them. You know what I mean? It happens. It's happened to us in the past. We've given items to people. We've seen them for sale on Facebook. Drive past where they were and see them sitting outside in a yard sale. And it's like, okay. But you really can't do anything. We don't ask to see paycheck stubs or anything like that. Most of all the members of the group, though, are all like-minded people. Actually, the ones that just dropped off all the pillows, they were a fire victim family. We had helped them, and it's a member of her family that works at the Holiday Inn that had contacted her about the pillows, so she contacted me. So she got help, and now she's trying to pay it forward.
Well, that's my next question. With the members, you mentioned there's a trust issue with the people that use the site. Is there a trust issue between the members, making sure that they don't use donations for their own personal use?
We haven't come up with any issues like that on our group. I know other groups that have come up with issues like that. We tell everybody up front and ahead of time if they're making a site donation, if somebody creates a post for themselves on the group, they're in need of certain things. If somebody makes a personal donation to them, we can't really control what happens with that. If somebody makes a group donation to myself, any one of the admin members, or the site representatives, then we make sure we let them know, okay, yeah, they're like, okay, well, we've seen this person post it. Okay, well, we've already got this for them. For the longest time, it was me nonstop back and forth with certain people. They donate something, it's supposed to go to one person, but now this person doesn't need it anymore. So then I'm calling like, okay, well, do you mind if we give it to this person? Finally, we just switched it for the rules of the site that if it's something that we don't have an immediate need for, we'll store until we do. We haven't had a problem with anybody using anything for their own personal needs.
finally, just with your own struggles here at home, do you have any trouble keeping up the demands of the group? I mean,
sometimes. Sometimes it's just we're going out doing pickups. We used to do pickups every Monday. When we're doing the pickups, there's sometimes that we have so much stuff, and then half an hour, 45 minutes into doing it, my back is killing me. I just can't do anymore. And it's calling and rescheduling, things like that. In whole, though, even when we do have a hang up with one thing, because there's so many with the admins and the site reps, and we've got trusted members that we trust to go out and do pickups and deliveries for us as well. If we have an overabundance, especially at Christmas time when we did the Christmas help for families, and just recently with the Easter baskets for kids, we were having just trusted members go out and do pickups for us because we were so overwhelmed with it. And then I get a headache, my back hurts, something like that. If I have to take any sort of a pain pill, I can't do anything. I'm not in the house. Because I know how they affect me. Other words, it's everybody just pulls together. What one person can't do, somebody else is always willing to step and be like, okay, I can do it.
And does that message of pay it forward, does it reflect from your own life, from your own experiences? I mean, just...
I think it does. Even though my mom was a single mother, she still would play Secret Santa to a little boy that lived across the hall in Genesee Gardens every year while she's taking care of me and my kids. Always, she'd reach out and do something. You go to Walmart or to the mall and they see the trees at Christmas time with the name, the little tags on it. She'd always do that. So it was something that we grew up with. You know what I mean? Like, if you need help, say something and somebody's going to help you. So with me, I've got strong family support. A lot of people don't have that. I know a lot of my friends that we've helped, perfect strangers that we never knew before, that we do know now, and we consider them friends, that they don't have that family support, or their family is facing the same struggles that they're facing. Therefore, even though they've got the emotional support, there's nothing that they can do to help them. So that's when Pay It Forward steps in and helps as much as we can. Something my mom used to do.